my name's Rachel, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to bind your own book. Included in your kit, there will be wax paper, lining paper, signature paper, board for the cover of your book, a strip of linen for the spine, fabric for the cover, some clothes pegs, a needle and thread for sewing. You will have to supply your own paintbrush and white glue. The first step is to prepare the signature paper for the inside of your book. In your kit, you will have 5 sets of 3 pages folded together to form packets like this. What we're going to want to do is sew along the seam here in order to hold the pages together. When you go to sew your pages together, you're going to want to thread your needle, pull the thread halfway through, and then tie a knot at the end like this. Make sure that you double knot your thread to ensure that it doesn't come undone while you're sewing. When you go to sew your pages, you're going to want to unfold them a bit like this and start at one of the ends with your knot on the outside like this, and then pull your thread through. You're going to want to repeat your stitches every inch or so along the entire length of the seam. When you get to the edge of your page, you're going to want to make sure that your needle goes through to the same side that your knot is on. You're going to tie a knot on the end, on the outside, on the same side as your other knot. Make sure that you tie a double knot so that your stitches don't come undone. Make sure that you sew the spines of all 5 sections of paper. When you've finished your sewing, you're going to want to make sure that all of your pages are lined up and even along the spine. Then you're going to take 2 of your paper clips and clamp the pages along the short side like this. For this next step, you're going to need this strip of white cloth as well as a paintbrush and glue. Next, we're going to cover this strip of linen in glue, and you're going to want to make sure that it's fully saturated so that pages don't fall out of your book. Once you have that covered with glue and you've gotten it all the way to the edges on all sides, you're going to want to take your pages and put the spine about halfway up the strip of fabric here and press down. Next, you're going to take the other half of the fabric and pull it up and over this half of the book. Now you're going to want to make sure that the strip of fabric is very tight to the pages to ensure that all of the pages are stable and stay together in your book. Next, to make sure that the glue sets with the pages in place, take some of your clothes pegs and line them down the spine of your book. While the glue on your signature pages is drying, we're going to set it aside and focus on our book cover. So for the book cover, you're going to need these 2 large pieces of post board, as well as this thin strip, and you will also need the fabric that you are going to use for your cover. For the book cover, we're going to start by laying our fabric out horizontally like this, and then we're going to take our pieces of board and lay them out on top of the fabric. This small piece here is going to be the spine of your book, and you want it so that there's enough space on the edges for the fabric to fold over the pieces of board. And in the middle, you want it so that there's a gap between the 3 pieces, but not too large. So once you've decided where you're going to lay out your pieces for your cover, you're going to want to take your white glue again and thoroughly coat the other side of these pieces. So once you have all of your pieces of postboard covered in glue, you're going to start by laying out your fabric and attaching the spine first. So you're going to want to make sure that it's in about the center of the fabric and that it's a good distance from either side. After you attach your spine, you're going to take one of the larger pieces and put it down beside it. So once again, you don't want them touching, but you do just want a really small gap in between them, so about like a few millimeters. You don't want it to be a huge gap. So you're gonna do the same thing on the other side with your other piece. So the next step is to take a pair of scissors and you're going to want to cut the corners off. This will help when we go to fold the fabric over the board. Okay, so after you've cut the corners of the fabric off, you're going to take your white glue and paintbrush and you're going to paint the fabric that's showing around the edges here. And it's important that you start with the bottom and do the top. So you're going to do this side, and then do these two sides last. So after you've coated the fabric thoroughly with glue, you're going to fold it up over the edges of your poster board. And once again, you're going to want to make sure that you're pulling it tight so that you don't have any wrinkles in the fabric of your cover. So I let this dry for about half an hour. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to take the lining paper for the inside and we're going to fold them in half lengthwise like this. Not all wallpaper will be cut to the same size. See, mine is a bit too small for the inside of the book, but it shouldn't matter too much. So for the next step, we're going to need our signature pages again. It's really important that you let this strip dry thoroughly. I've only had a few hours to let it dry, but it is preferable if you are able to leave it overnight. This will help ensure that your pages don't fall out of your book. Now you're going to need your 2 pieces of wax paper. You're going to take one sheet and put it inside just the first page of your bundle of signature paper and put it like that. This is to make sure that your pages don't stick together when you go to apply glue to the first and the back page. So I'm going to do this for the last page as well. And then you're going to want to thoroughly cover the back page and the front page with glue. And when you do this, you're going to include this strip of fabric. So after you have covered your page in glue, you're going to take your folded piece of lining paper and line up this seam here with the edge of the book, making sure that it's firmly attached to your page. I'm going to continue this step on the other cover. Okay, so I've applied the lining paper to both sides, and now I'm going to take my wax paper again and put it on the front like this, and then fold the lining paper back over. This is the side that's going to be attached to the inside of your cover, and so we'll be coating this thoroughly with glue. So after you have thoroughly coated your lining paper with glue, we're going to take our book cover. This is a little bit tricky. And we are going to line up the folded edge here with the inside of your book. Once again, this wasn't cut to the exact right size, so it does look a little off. And you're just gonna press that down along the inside there. So once you've secured the first side of your lining paper, what you're going to do is put the wax paper back between the two folded halves of this piece of lining paper. And then what you're going to do is take your glue and apply it down the spine here of your signature pages, as well as along this piece of paper here. So in addition to putting some glue along the inside here and along this piece of lining paper, I also put a little bit of glue down this piece of spine here just to make sure that everything is going to stay in place. The easiest way to get everything to stick to your cover is just to close the book, and you're going to want to press this cover down and also press along the spine to make sure that all of the pages are secured to the book cover. And there you have it, your very own book. If you want more information about this kit, our upcoming workshops, or more information about Hutchison House Museum, there should be some information in the description below, as well as links to our website and Facebook page. Thank you to everybody who followed along with this video and purchased the kits. I hope that this made it a bit easier to follow along with the instructions, and thanks for watching.